Hi everyone. This video is going to be about a channel message that I received yesterday from the Ascended Masters. And I wrote it down because it came to me really quickly, and I'm hoping I can be able to read it without having any trouble because of the fact it's so messy. And it was inspired by just an idea that popped into my head involving what are the Ascended Masters' purpose for us? What do they do for us? Why are they here for us? So I'm going to read the channel message to you guys. We have higher beings such as Ascended Masters because they hold within them our Sattvic records, our entire soul's history, not of just us, but of all the souls that have ever existed in dimensions and realities. As we travel, we need power that can hold all our data because we cannot withhold all this data, especially while we travel to lower, denser dimensions such as third dimensional Earth. We need beings to hold this for us. We connect with them when we wish to retrieve pieces of our data. We cannot access all data at once, especially in the physical. We wouldn't be able to move fast enough through all the data to understand and process it. It's like we are shuffling through all the data and we cannot do this fast enough while in the physical. We do not need access to all information. It's there in data that we need comes to us when we are ready to remember and download it for it to become a part of us again. We forget this data so we can figure it out again. Each time we figure it out again, the data we once collected changes, becomes more expansive, it evolves. So the reason why the Ascended Masters are connecting with us is because of the fact that they are wanting to give us our data back. But the thing about on Earth, we've taken on a brain, an intellect, that has a capacity, meaning there is a limit to its capacity. We cannot process information quick enough to be able to comprehend all the data. So the Ascended Masters are basically in charge of giving us our data back in small sort of spurts throughout our lifetime. And they also mentioned about the reason why we choose to forget it is because we have this knowing within us. And data is in the form, the Ascended Masters want to come in and they want to say data is in the form of experiences we have, every experience that we and every soul has experienced since the beginning of time. It's like a true wealth of knowledge, true wisdom. And especially has to do with everything that we've experienced, our unique soul that split off from source energy. It's like our unique little sun. You know, it's each of us, it's like we have our own unique sun. The universe is this massive force. Well, a galaxy is a force created within that massive force, and then a solar system is a force created within that force. So everything is basically branching off from one another merely to explore, to be something different, to create something new. Everything is about creating something new. That's what expansion is, creating something new. So each of us has our own little sun in this massive universe, and all these suns and these galaxies and these universe are all connected because of the fact they're all in this massive force called the universe. So basically, what the guides are saying when we were tapping with the Ascended Masters, they're helping us to retrieve back this data about ourselves, about our soul's journey. Basically about, imagine if we're going to go the metaphor with the sun. The sun has its own soul journey. You can literally take a sun and take it all the way back to when it was basically just nothing. It was just a part of the universe. It was just energy in the universe, just floating around, or it didn't really have any, wasn't anything really. It was just a part of the universe, you know. So it was just like particles, it was just like atoms, basically elements. So the same with us. We want to retrieve this data, because having this, it's just like we retrieve this data because it helps us to be able to understand what we're doing here, why we need to be here, what is our goals for this particular lifetime, because all that information is basically in that Akashic records. And we basically forget this. We forget that we have access to all knowledge. So we know that we have this knowing within ourselves that we will retrieve it again. We will figure it out again. That's why all of us are yearning for something. We don't even know what we're yearning for. We're looking for something we don't even know we're looking for. It's like we're constantly feeling this desire, like there's something more, and we don't even know what that is, because the fact that we have this yearning, this knowing, this looking to be able to connect with the dots, connect the dots together. And the Ascended Masters are helping us. Connect the dots together are really to be able to connect us to all things. But in this world where we have a capacity and limits to that capacity, we can't fully connect the dots, especially all at once. So a lot of us feel confused. A lot of us feel lost because we want to be able to connect the dots all at once. But we can't do that with our capacity and our limits on that capacity and this human brain, this human intellect. Because we didn't design ourselves to be able to connect the dots all in one moment in time. We came here to forget so we could connect with the Ascended Masters. They could give us these datas, and we could be able to look at these incomplete data. It's like you're looking at an incomplete equation, and it's like you're just looking at it and you're trying to figure out, like, for example, you're trying to connect the dots. The Ascended Masters give you data, like, on your life, like, throughout your life, and it's sort of like incomplete data because they can't give it to you all at once, like the entire wealth of knowledge of the entire universe, because like I said, you wouldn't be able to shuffle through it quick enough. It's like reading infinite books in just like a single second. You can't scroll through all that information and be able to process it all. It would just go over your head. And it would be useless because you didn't process it. It's not integrated into your being. It's not grounded into your being because you just looked at it and it doesn't make sense to you. Too slow, start so slow. They open up a page of a book and they let you read it. They let you process it, and then once you truly process it and integrate it into your being, conceptualize it, then they turn to the other page, because that's how it is. But the thing is, while we're waiting for the next page to be turned, we are actually already sort of we're coming up with ideas to what that other page will look like. We're coming up with ideas. We're already, because we have this knowing within us, this natural knowing of all this information. We know it. It's just we can't really conceptualize it or really feel it or internalize it or intellectually know it. But we do feel it. We know, we have this knowing. So what we do is we come up with ideas with creativity. So we have this data and this like equation, and it's not even complete. But the thing is, we figure out the data, we figure out the rest of the equation before these Ascended Masters even give us the next piece of the puzzle or the next piece of information that was divinely planned to be given to us. Because that's what it's here to. That's why we're here. We're not here. We're here to forget this information, this wealth of information that we know that we have total access to when we're not in this physical dimension, third dimension, Earth. But we forget because we want to be able to put our thinking caps on and think about it, to be a deep thinker, to go in the depths of our soul, to be able to challenge ourselves to come up with a creative idea that could help us to connect the dots. It's like you're being resourceful. It's like if you don't have the materials you need to build something, like let's say you need particular materials and you don't have it, you find other materials. You do whatever you can. You find other materials. If you really want to build this structure, infrastructure, and you need these precise materials. Let's say those materials don't exist on this planet. You'll find other materials. You'll find the best material you can to match that. That's what we're using, because that's a creative process. That's coming up with ideas. That's why we're here. And then you realize that you've connected the dots and you have access to total wisdom again and whatnot, and this data of your soul and this wisdom or teachings that you gained from your many lifetimes as a soul, basically as a son. It's like you've observed many things as a son observes many things. But the thing is, since you've come up with a new idea on how to figure that information out, you realize you've learned this new information, but you've changed it, you evolved it. It's like you're looking at an equation. Like Ascended Masters give you like equation, like an old equation that to help you to figure out, your total access to infinite knowledge. But the thing is, the way you figure it out in each lifetime is is different. You're not figuring it out. You're not connecting the dots in the same way. That's what makes it more expansive. That what makes it evolve. Because each time you remember yourself and your entire being, and from your origin and everything, it's like it's different. Each incarnation is like a different method in which you discover yourself. And that's how you evolve. So all this data is like evolving. It's constantly evolving. It's not just a data sitting in a cabinet shelf that you just go look into and, oh, okay. No, it's like you're adding to it. You're like data, and you're like in each incarnation, you remember your data through a process, through the Ascended Masters helping you, through tapping into the Ascended Masters. But the thing is, a lot of times you already discover that data before you even really tap into the Ascended Master, into the Sachic records. But the thing is, when you compare your data you discovered on your own, not really on your own, but through connecting with your evolved self, since you're evolving, since you're an incarnation, you're going to be evolved than you were in your past incarnation. So this information that you remembered about yourself, it's going to be evolved. And then when you compare to the data that the Ascended Masters get you, since they're holding all your Sachic records and everything about your life and your souls and the souls of the universe, you compare and you're like, this data that I've collected and the information I have about everything in source and the universe and myself and every soul that's ever existed, it's different. It's not the same. It's like they're somewhat similar, but they're not really comparable. You can't really compare them. Because the information I've gained on my own through my own sort of just going deep within is evolved information. It's like that old stuff is outdated. So everything is evolving, so everything is becoming outdated. So when everything is becoming outdated, everything needs to be upgraded. Sorry, my back needs to be cracked. So that's what we're here, to upgrade our information. To upgrade everything. Everything gets outdated and we upgrade it. And that's the Ascended Masters. They hold our Sachic records, and it's almost like they're withholding it from us, and that's why we feel confused and lost at times. Because we know there's more, and we just don't know what that is, because basically they're withholding their Sachic records from us. They're not revealing it to us all at once, and just in bits and pieces. That's why we get clarity here and there in our lifetime. Revelations. Because it's meant for us to go out there and to use our thinking cap, put our thinking cap on, and to discover what it is. What is it? What is our soul? What is the universe? Because I'm telling you, you're going to come up with something totally new than you did in your past incarnation. And that's the point. Because in that process, when you're using your thinking cap and you're challenging yourself because you've forgotten, and you have to remember because you just know you have to, on a soul level you have to, you're going to evolve. It's like you're creating something new. Because of the fact that you had to create something you knew. Because you know within yourself that you have to figure something out. And you have to do whatever you can to figure that out. Nobody even knows what they're figuring out. It's like we're constantly trying to figure something out. And then you create something. Something new comes out of that. A new idea. A new way of thinking. A new perception. And that's why we're here. We're not here to continue to use our... Because imagine in the higher realms, like if we have access to total things, or everything about the universe, humans, every living thing, everything in the universe, everything that's existed and ever has existed, we would probably have this single perception, and of course we'd be changing, but we would have this view, the same view of it all. So what happens is we come down here so we can have a different view of that. So we can have the view of forgetting and deeply wanting to remember and having to come up with something new in order to remember, because you have to come up with something creative and something like innovative just to remember, or to see it, to see the picture of all things. That's what makes it kind of fun and creative. It helps you to be better and to evolve. So that's really the channel messages that they have to share with you guys. So bye.